All right, this is gonna be my third entry into the message to the black community series. And the reason why I'm gonna be releasing these messages to the black community, strictly for the blacks, is because it seemed like instead of moving forward after all these years, since the fake civil rights movement that should have never happened, hit the link in my bio and go look at the lecture I gave on that if you don't understand me saying that. Um, all the progress we done made, the power that we have in the world today, the influence that we have in the world today, how educated we are, how wealthy we are, they still complaining. And it's always the same complaint. This is why I tell people white supremacy only exists in black people's heads, right? Black people put white people on a pedestal more than any white person could ever do it, right? Because the white supremacists, let me show you some about white supremacists, and I know some of them. These people they stay out far away from everybody in the country most of the time. They got them at the workplace, and they don't get it twisted. But for the most part, these people stay away from people, right? But you always have these blacks. If you tell blacks something about anything in their life, when it come to correction, the first thing gonna come out their mouth, not the Chinese, not the no, they gonna hurry up and say, "Well, the white people do it." When they get money, they leave the hood, and where they go? To the white people area, right? White people are supreme and superior to not all, but most black people. And you grow up, man, and you. I feel like everybody born liberal, basically. Anything goes, let people do them, everything accepted, hippie life. So I feel like everybody born liberal. So you come up and you look at these certain celebrities, bro, and you love these celebrities, and you admire them. Some people even worship them. I never did that, but you admire them for their good work, whether it be on the football field, on the basketball court, movies, stand up, whatever it is that they talented, and you just look at them for their talent, and you like them and you become a fan of them. But once you wake up and you become a conservative and start looking at people for who they really is, man, I'm talking about like over the last 5 or 6 years when I became a black conservative and seeing how most black celebrities, not all, but most black celebrities, whether it's athletes, actors, rappers, singers, or if it's the fake black leaders or the black pastors or the members of the Democratic Party, they evil, they wicked, they misleading, they racist toward white people, and they jealous toward white people, right? Not all, but most. Which brings me to my subject of today. So over the weekend, Dana White and his wife of 30 plus years had an altercation in Mexico. I believe they was in Mexico on vacation. I'm gonna let you guys hear what he got to say, but I believe they was in Mexico, right? And they had an altercation where they was drunk. His wife slapped the mess out of him, and he slaps her back. It's always wrong for a man to put his hand on a woman. Let's get that out the way, understood, and clarified. He wrong. But this is his wife. Whatever they had going on, they worked it. They apparently worked it out. Ain't no divorce file. Ain't no police report. Nobody went to jail. It just got caught on tape because when you're a celebrity, everybody always got their phones out. You on vacation in a beautiful place. Everybody got their phones out, and just so happened you Dana White. And that's the situation with that. Like I said, I'm gonna let y'all listen to what Dana White had to say about that, but that's not why I made the video. I made the video because D.L.Hughley is a person who, this guy is going down as one of the best comedians of history. He's a king of comedy. He got a syndicated radio show. He got multiple specials, movies, Man done did it all. He should have a lot of money, and if he invested his money like he's supposed to invest it, he even more richer than he was just off his, his work hours that he put in the industry of comedy. Dude, a legend. But yet, the whole time Donald Trump was in office, he demonized this man, talked about this man. Now, I get it. If you're a comedian making somebody the butt of jokes, that's one thing. But when you got a personal vendetta and hate against somebody, it shows. And it showed with him and Donald Trump. Misled all the people who called into his show, all the people who followed. Because this guy got a big platform to be spouting hatred, to be spouting lies, right? And the reason why, like I say, this is my third entry in the black community, because this is one of the issues in our community. This is one of the main issues. Not only that we being misled by the so-called legends and people who we supposed to be able to look up to for good advice, but I don't know if you want to say it about a comedian, but however, whatever, this man is an old man now. This man probably is a grandfather now, right? But we always comparing ourselves to anything happening in our community, whatever you want to say to blacks. You tell them about black on black crime, older white people doing it. You tell them about abortion, older white people doing it. You tell them about 77% of their babies are being raised in a home with no father, older white people doing it. Everything you tell blacks to make them take accountability for the mistakes and the ruin that they community, and the first thing they do is bring up the white people, which is, who said the white people perfect? Everybody know that everything bad going on in the black community going on in every other community across the board. But at the end of the day, these things are happening in the black community at an alarming rate. Whether you talk about abortion, black on black crime period, there's only 13% of us black people who account for the American population, and we 50% of all crime. We lead in abortion. So how is every time something being directed into our manner, how is any time it's time for us to put our pedal to the metal, how is it time whenever us to be held accountable for our own actions, we bring up the white man? How is that helping? How is that helping? How is that helping our communities? How is that helping our families? How is that helping our women from getting abortion? How is that helping our youth from killing each other? How is that helping? If D.L.Hughley used his platform to tell people, look, stop voting for the Democratic Party. They don't care about black people. Stop killing each other. Black women, stop having abortions. Start reproducing with men who you know gonna be there. And if they don't be there, make sure you have a baby with a man who is doing something with himself in life. So even if he don't be there, he still be accountable for child support. Instead of making babies with dudes in the streets, and you know when the streets is an undefeated universal law that if you're in the streets, you will be killed or put in prison. No ifs, ands, buts about it. If he would use his platform to talk about those things, which are the things that's really tearing our community up, versus him talking about always about the white man who he got on the pedestal. White man is his Jesus. He worshiped the white man, because every time he talk about something, he compared it to the white man. So let's read this tweet. Now, mind you, I want to say this again. Dana White is married to his wife over 30 years. They got all his kids with one woman. I'm sure that's not the same with D.L.Hughley. I'm sure he got more than one baby mama and all this type of food. I'm not sure about that, but I'm almost positive, because I know how these black men is and I know how these black women is. So not all, but most. So let's read this tweet. If one of Dana White's fighters had beat his wife like that, he'd already been arrested. If Chris Brown, Bobby Brown, or Antonio Brown did what Dana White did, the media wouldn't stop talking about it. What can Brown do for you? Apparently not a damn thing. If that would have been a brother, it'd be nonstop coverage, dreading up playground fight from the third grade, scoring up old tweet, you name it. Hashtag Dana White's entire life is immersed in brutal physical violence. He's amassed a fortune from it. Where are the salacious headlines? Where's the presser? Oh, he apologized. White privilege, pun intended. Scores a first round knockout yet again. Team DL. Yeah, you a clown, DL, and you know you're not only a clown, you're a cancer to the black community. You're not a help to the black community. You have no knowledge. That's what I say about a lot of these older blacks. They got a head full of gray hair and a brain that's just as empty, right? They don't have nothing to teach the black community that's coming up behind them. But hey, you black, and it's gonna be hard for you because you black. But guess what? D.L.Hughley made it great. I've been watching D.L.Hughley since he was on Showtime at the Apollo, I believe. You know, one of those older things. Been watching this guy for years. The white man wasn't able to hold him back from being a king of comedy, having his own radio show, having multiple specials, having multiple movies, and accumulate massive wealth. The white man was not able to stop him from doing that. Donald Trump or nobody else. But yeah, he on here talking about, once again, 2023, about if the white man done it. Well, listen, DL, guess what? You not white, majority of your people who listen to you not white. So when are you black people gonna stop saying if white people do it, it would be different? Listen, how has that helped the community of blacks so far? How? Tell me how. Nobody can tell me how, comment how, no reason. It has not helped us as a community always saying, well, the white people do it. Listen, we not white people. Because guess what? White people got their own issues in their community too. But guess what? They able to pull together, stick together when it's time. We can't even do that. We can't even stick together. For even when we got the same common goals. So let's stop comparing ourselves to the white people. Let's start comparing ourselves to black people. Focus on our problems and fixing our problems instead of always, because we'll never fix our problem. We focus on somebody else. Focus on comparing. Let's fix us first. And D.L.Hughley, you need to spend time doing that instead of worrying about what happened with Dana White and his family that has been together for 30 years and going to remain together and create generational wealth for their children. Now let's listen to what Dana White said in response to this video servicing. And Noriega, man, I really like Noriega, but I noticed something about him. He done chained up the last couple of years. He done became a sheep. He got a great show by the name of Drink Champs, and he not willing to lose that show. He not willing to lose that show. He already got faced with the cancel culture for his interview with Kanye West. Immediately took it down. So he one of those ones. He ain't got no backbone. He ain't got no backbone. He's scared of the system. He not willing to go against the system. And I'm not saying go against the system just to say you went for it, but sometimes you got to stand for something or fall for anything. And clearly Noriega is not that guy at this point. He got that show, and he idolized that show to the point where he not willing to do anything to lose it, even if it means standing up for himself. Because that Kanye interview shouldn't have been took down. Kanye said what he felt, whether it was right or wrong, whether people agree with it or not. It was a show that it was an interview, and he shouldn't have took it down, because there's a lot of people who wanted to see it, like myself, who didn't even get a chance to, because he got bullied by the media, by the cancel culture mob to take it down. So he's another one. He have no backbone. So I'm not surprised that he he tweeted this in response. Right? You can't cancel Dana White. Dana White, because that's another thing, Noriega. Unlike you, Dana White built his own brand. He don't work for nobody. You work for Diddy. You work for Revolt. Dana White don't work for nobody. Dana White give people opportunities to make millions of dollars to feed their family. It doesn't matter if he getting paid to. He still give people opportunities. Nobody give him opportunity. Dana White made the brand. He can't be canceled. You can't cancel somebody who made their own brand, right? So get your own brand, Noriega, before you open your mouth. This is another thing we got to talk about in the black community. Building your own brand and stop having that. But most blacks had an employee slave mentality mindset that they just want to move higher in the company. They don't want to own the company, right? Because see, when you own a company, Noriega, unlike you do at Revolt, when you own a company like Dana White own UFC, he can't be canceled. So that's the question on that. That's the answer to your question. Why isn't he canceled? Y'all don't be confused. He not canceled because he can't be canceled because he built his own brand, created generational wealth for him and his family. See, when you die, Drink Champs is gonna be passed on to somebody else. Your children not getting a pennant from that, Noriega. So that go to answer your question. So I'm gonna let y'all listen to what Dana White had to say in response to this video surfing of him slapping his wife, of them slapping each other.
For almost 30 years. We've known each other since we were 12 years old. We've obviously been through some shit together, and we've got 3 kids, and, you know, this is one of those situations that's, you know, horrible. I'm embarrassed, but it's also one of those situations that is, you know, right now, we're more concerned about our kids. You know, we have 3 kids, and, you know, obviously, since the video popped up, we've shown the kids the video, and, you know, we're more focused on our family right now. People are going to have opinions on this, and most of the people's opinions would be right, and especially in my case, you don't put your hands on a woman ever. My wife and I obviously love each other. We've been together for a very long time. We've known each other since we were very little, and this is just one of those unfortunate situations.
You were at a place in Cabo that where alcohol
been married for almost 30 years.
Flows.
There was definitely a lot of alcohol involved, but that's no excuse. I literally am making no excuses for this thing at all. It's never happened before. It's the first time that it's ever happened, and people are going to say what they're going to say. It's just is what it is, and whatever people do say, it's deserved. I deserve it. It happened. I don't know why it happened, and, you know, my wife and I have apologized to each other. We've apologized to our kids, and, you know, this is one of those things that everybody's going to chime in. I could care less what anybody else thinks about this. Right now, what we're more concerned about are our kids and taking care of our family.
How did this situation end?
That was the beginning of it and the end of it, and, you know, we're still on vacation, you know, everything. You're talking about somebody who is, you know, her and I have known each other since we were 12 years old, and we've been married for almost 30 years. So, you know, we're obviously
close.
There was definitely a lot of alcohol involved, but that's no excuse. I literally am making no excuses for this thing at all. It's never happened before. It's the first time that it's ever happened, and people are going to say what they're going to say. It's just is what it is, and whatever people do say, it's deserved. I deserve it. It happened. I don't know why it happened, and you know, my wife and I have apologized to each other. We've apologized to our kids, and, you know, this is one of those things that everybody's going to chime in. I could care less what anybody else thinks about this. Right now, what we're more concerned about are our kids and taking care of our family.
How did this situation end?
That was the beginning of it and the end of it, and actually best friends. She's my wife, and you know, we had too much to drink, and whatever happened that night happened. But yeah, that was it, and it was done.
Dana, the final thing, you say whatever happened that night happened. Do you remember it?
No, I don't remember a lot. So yeah, no. No, obviously this thing, you know, it's one of those situations. It's embarrassing for both of us, but more importantly, what we're more concerned about are our kids. What we're concerned about, listen, nobody knows you better than your kids know you. They grow up in your house with you. They see everything. They hear everything. They know everything. And everybody always asks me, you know, questions about, well, do I care about this? Do I care about that? And my question is always the same. My legacy and all this other stuff with work doesn't mean anything to me. It's all about your family, you know? It's about your wife and kids, and literally best friends. She's my wife, and you know, we had too much to drink, and whatever happened that night happened. But yeah, that was it, and it was done.
Dana, the final thing, you say whatever
situation too. Like I'm saying, everybody's going to have an opinion. We're just worried about our family and focused on our kids right now. But me and my wife are cool. We're good. Situation too, like I'm saying, everybody's going to have an opinion.